I thought BJ
this
was.
is Authentic Hustle.
No, I was okay.
We do this the authentic way, if you have not noticed. Welcome to Authentic Hustle number 56. It's funny, I was just finishing telling everybody I'm fighting a wicked cold and I need them to open, but here we are.
And we both
I
go
will
like
close
this.
it out today.
Yeah. It's been a week, guys. I'm on the recovery side, but yeah, I've been fighting this like horrid cold since like Sunday night. Just came out of nowhere and kicked my butt. I am Canadian, so I guess it's bound to happen eventually, but I got through most of the winter without fighting any colds, and I got just hammered here this last week. And it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week, guys. And it had me thinking a lot about success. And so I kind of feel like success is something I want to touch on with you guys today. Better understand what your versions of it are, what your beliefs of it are. I think my beliefs on success have changed drastically since I started a podcast and interviewed, a few hundred people and really got, an idea. I think that success isn't a destination. It's someplace you have to live every single day or you will never get there. But I'd love to chat with you guys about it today. But before we do, I just want to talk about my week because I think you guys are going to find it hilarious. I know I've given you guys a bit of an update, but the audience hasn't had the update yet. So obviously I was mentioning, guys, I've been fighting this wicked cold since Sunday. It's been fun around the house. We ended up having, a little boy with a toothache that we ended up having to deal with. And then on Tuesday night, super fun. I get up, it's like middle of the night. I'm getting cough medicine. I didn't turn any lights on. And I step on a puddle of water, on the floor. And my thought immediately goes to my boys. I'm thinking, there's an ice box there. They took out ice, they dropped some on the floor, and they left puddles on the floor. Like, this is not uncommon. We have 5 little boys, so it happens. And I think nothing of it. I clean up the mess and I go to bed. Now, the next morning, I'm laying in bed and I'm up and I'm listening to what's going on downstairs. And I hear the boys say, "There's water on the floor down here." And then Shelb goes, "Yeah, you guys spill something? Like there's water?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit." I already cleaned up that water. And so we get downstairs, and sure enough, there's a puddle of water on the floor. Come downstairs, it's leaked through the floor and into the tile ceiling of our basement. And I'm like, oh crap. So I shut off the water valve going to the fridge. We pull out the fridge, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, how is this even possible? How is this thing leaking? We do a little bit more further investigation, and my gosh, guys, we had a mouse chew through our water line to get through a little hole that goes under our cupboard. And so not only do I have a massive water leak to deal with, a hose to replace, but now I have some mice to figure out how to deal with. So it's been a week. It's been a week so far like that, but super cool, faith in humanity moment this morning. So yeah, I was dealing with that yesterday, but faith in humanity moment this morning. We actually had an unpaid invoice last year go unpaid, and it was about a full year. And I kid you not, guys, I woke up this morning and the invoice was paid in full, and I had a message in my inbox saying, "I'm sorry it took too long. I told you I would get it handled, and it's done. Thank you for all you did." And yeah, just faith in humanity, people. People want to do the right thing, even when sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, they do for sure. That's I love that story. I know I talked to you about it this morning, but I love more what you said is success isn't a destination. It's a place where you live,
Yeah.
right? And that's a headspace, right? That post I had this morning too is why not choose to be in a good mood for no other reason than being in a good mood,
Yeah.
right? We get that choice, regardless of what's going on. And in you getting that notification of a payment after a year, that type of thing, um, that shows a lot of um, what the integrity,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
On the other side and on
100%.
your side, Kelly, for working with that client for that long or holding off, right? Like some people, regardless of the dollar amount, whether it's $35 or 3,500, they'll go to a collection agency and they'll just go ruthless and they'll go online and you know what? It just shows integrity both ways. So kudos to you and to that client for holding their end of the word. Years ago, when I was in the garbage world, there was a large apartment builder. I won't name him. Anyway, he went through some trouble, and they were going bankrupt. And the story has it that he went to every supplier and said, "You know what? Just don't put me in the ground. I will pay every bill that I owe you, and I will be back." And I think it took him, I think it was 2 or 3 years. He was a large scale developer, and he made good on every one of those payments,
Wow.
and the economy flipped, and they were go back in business under a new name. He didn't leave anyone hanging. And the story I heard was every one of those suppliers signed up again, said, "Let's do this again." Right?
Yeah.
Because of that integrity. No different than this person coming back to you and whatever the invoice was for,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure you would say, "Yeah, shoot, I'll do business again."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
You know what? It's so interesting because there's actually a contrary to that. So I kid you not, I got another email last night as well. And this was kind of a fun one. I'd done some exploratory looking to see about having a wrap done on my truck with a company that I've worked with for over 15 years.
yeah.
Right? Like I know them really, really well. And when I'd reached out to them, they'd done my previous wrap, and I'd reached out to them again and said, "Hey, like, could you guys potentially send me just like a mock up of what a wrap could look like if we did it this way?" Right? I hadn't had like any commitments to it or anything like that. And I mean, cash got tight, and I just decided that, like, you know what? Like, I like it. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I like the idea, and I'm gonna explore it later. But right now, I can't really move forward with it. Right? There was no quote ever given, no money discussed, no nothing. Right? And then suddenly, like, once again, about a year later, they reach back out and are like, "Hey, like, you didn't move forward with this. We want to send you an invoice for this." And I'm like, "Well, you guys never even told me how much this thing is going to cost." Like there was never once money discussed, right?
Yeah.
And so like the other side, one side this morning I wake up and I'm like faith in humanity, and the other side I'm thinking like what the hell? Like I,
Yeah.
I I get it. I completely understand, but like there's certain things where it's like if no money is discussed, if no dollar amounts are agreed to, it's like how can you just send an invoice either, being the other side of it? So
You know,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, we have a customer, US customer, we built a truck for, and they got the wrap made me think about it. They got a full wrap done. And they assumed on their end, which was fine, that they could roll the wrap cost into their truck build with their lender. And the lender came back after and said, "Oh, sorry, we already funded it. We can't add that in after." And it was like $6,000 US.
Yeah.
Um, so they're like, "What the heck do we do?" And I'm like, "Well, can you just pay me monthly?" And they're like, "Well, we could give you $100 a month." And I'm like, "Till I'm dead, okay." Um, but so
For the
so I
next 6 years.
so so I said, "Okay, yeah, let's do that." So no joke, for for the last 2 years, every month we get a check, and it's a check, a handwritten check for $100 from somebody in, Oregon.
Wow.
And, and we kinda like, we're not laughing at them, we're laughing at ourselves, but we said, "You know what? They're doing the best they could do." And we get that check every month. So at the end of last year, I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, this has been great. Thank you so much. Is there anything we could do to get a lump sum payment, a couple lump sum payments and clear this up?" And they said no. And so, so, so we'll just keep sending you the 100. And I'm like, okay, okay. So I took it upon myself to promote them on social media, right? I'm promoting this company who supported us, and they pay us this 100 a month in hopes that they would get really busy and just lump sum it. But at the end of the day, they are holding their word. Every month we get $100, and it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah.
But let's say they're doing well. I think they go to order another truck. I'm gonna say yes. Right, I'm not gonna finance it for $100 for 100,000.
Listen,
But
Colin,
but
we're gonna send you $100 on this $200,000 truck, and we will pay it literally for the rest of our lives.
for
Sound good?
eternity, right? But at the end of the day, it's kinda like your story or whatever, as long as we make good on our promise,
Yeah.
I think that integrity is held in place.
Yeah. Well, I think what's kind of interesting is like the contrast, maybe like the contrast regarding what I kind of said with regards to like basically being expected to just kind of pay a bill when there's been absolutely no discussion of cost, no relationship taking into, consideration, no the fact that I've sent them, let's call it probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in business
Yep.
over my career, maybe
Yep.
not that, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but a lot, right? Like, their design studio. Um, and the fact that all I wanted was like, basically an estimate and could they do it? And there was never any like pricing. And literally, even later, like when they reached back out to me later and asked me about it, I was like, listen, like, can you at least send me an estimate of what this might cost? I never got a response back. And so we're literally talking 6 months later now. I get another response. My previous email was literally, can you send me pricing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
But on the contrary, you mentioned that client who just paid me this morning, like, I have like zero
Yeah.
ill will. I would do business with them again.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Right. VJ, you ever have anything like that happen?
Yeah, I mean, like every time, especially from the technology world, like that, the time I'm spending with, and now recently podcasting. Uh, I'll talk about technology a little bit. Every time there's a bug or a troubleshooting that we're doing with, okay, we say it's going to take X number of days. It can take like 2 days or sometimes even like 20 days or even 30, 40, 60 days. But the moment we say we're going to get it fixed, we get it fixed. That's what it is about. It's about the integrity. It's about the trust. There are a lot of words to describe it. But one of the guests in Pathfinder recently described it. The culture that they have in their team is about like mean what they say and say what you mean, right? So both should coexist actually.
Yeah.
So just like stick to your word, right? If this is what you're going to do, just stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Wednesdays at 11, we have stuck to it for 56 weeks so far, right? So that's authentic hustle right here. So I think it goes a long way in not just business, in any relationship, right? And yeah, I mean, like my son suddenly asked for, okay, can you get peanut butter when you're getting back from the grocery? Like sometimes he would think like he's not going to get it, but every time I bring him and I surprise him every single time, and like dude, this is what is expected out of you as well. So we kind of like teach people a lesson in terms of like this is how you're supposed to operate in the world. Right, goes in business every single day.
Yeah.
Absolutely with you guys. So kudos to the client and kudos to you, Kelly. So absolutely, man. I think
Yeah. I like
yeah,
that
I
you
think that's the
touched
way to
on
operate.
I like that you touched on integrity, right? I think that's really important. Say what you do and do what you say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
So
And
critical.
it doesn't matter really how long it takes, right? All that is remembered is that it was taken care of,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest part of any of it is the ghosting, right? When somebody disappears, right? And then or I've had it as well is they disappear and then when you pursue something legally or whatever, you go after them and they act like you're doing something wrong,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, well, no, like you said, Kelly, is you nothing was actually done and there was no estimates or no nothing, and then hey, you owe some money for
Yeah.
what?
Well, it's an interesting contrast, right? Because I think it really, if you are going to be charging for something, it is absolutely critical that that is voiced in every single conversation that you're ultimately going to
Yeah,
have, and that there's some level of acceptance of a cost, right? You can't just
yeah,
send
yeah,
invoices to people and be like,
yeah,
"Pay
no,
me," right? Like, that's just
yeah,
not how the world works. Um, yeah, it's an interesting kind of paradigm on the on the other hand. But like, what I would say is this: is that I didn't go after that past client for that money at all. I didn't take them to collections. And the reason being too is that, me and that client had spent a lot of time together. We'd had a really strong relationship. And I didn't want to do that to them at the end of the day. Yeah, could it have maybe had them pay? Maybe, but maybe they simply couldn't. And on the
yeah,
other hand, now I've destroyed a relationship and I still don't get paid.
yeah, 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 double whammy,
Right?
right?
And so I think on a certain level, at some point, you also have to consider, like, what is that relationship worth to you? Is the
Hmm.
relationship potentially worth more than the whatever few $1,000s it would have been? And in this particular case, it was not worth it. It wasn't worth the fight. And while, obviously it did cause some distance, when you owe people money, they tend to stay away.
Yeah,
But it did cost some distance, but the sheer fact that like this morning that integrity came through and they paid it up in full, and it wasn't a insignificant amount of money. It was a considerable amount of money.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. I don't think I would have got that money had I went after them.
No, you wouldn't.
And I would have destroyed the relationship too. It would have been a lose-lose.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I love those stories, and I love they're not just stories, right? They're reality, and it brings it back to authenticity and integrity, right? Everything we do every day. It's I think it goes deeper. Every phone call we take, right? Every text we respond to, um, are we thinking about the future? Are we thinking about what the repercussions are or the consequences?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a big one too, is there's consequences to everything, right? How we treat customers, how we treat the people around us. I think we need to be cognizant of that. And we live in a world where almost social media warriors, right, or keyboard warriors, right? We can do a lot of damage very quickly, or we can do a lot of good very quickly as well.
Yeah.
And
And
that's kind of like what I started with is we can choose to be in a good mood for no apparent reason.
well, and it's important, I think, to remember too, is that like customers aren't companies, they're people.
That's right.
Right? There's always
That's
a
right.
person. There's
Yeah.
always a person behind that company name. And I think maybe that's really important to remember as well, is that like you're not just suing companies, or you're not just doing sending collections
Yeah.
after companies. Like you're doing it to individuals too. And I'm not saying there aren't people who don't deserve it. There
Mhm.
absolutely are. But I think it's important to remember that it's people at the end of the day, and relationships do matter in business, and what you do to people comes around and goes around.
Hold on, I have a story. I was just thinking about it. I wasn't prepared for the context, and I think I have a story I want to share. Can I share about it?
Absolutely.
So, my whole reason, even being here in Canada, even before you guys know, I was in the US before and all that. So
Before we invited you,
before we invited you, you
we're
invited
like, please
us.
come, VJ,
Invited-
please come.
Yeah, we're
So-
starting this show called The Hustle. We need you here.
So what happened was around 2010, I think 15, 16 years ago, 2010, 2011. So there was this like customer, a banking customer in Latin America, where like they had a cloud of other customers who were also dependent on that, and they were building a product for them. And so I was already working on one of their products, and I already traveled to the site a couple of times. And here my director or senior manager at the time, he goes like, VJ, this is a problem that's like constantly annoying us. Can you go take care of it? Right? Because I was already in their grounds taking care of stuff. So I know I'll be traveling in the next couple of months or so. And he said, like I said, I'll do my best. I'll try my best. It is a really complicated problem in terms of like, because it's a banking client and they have a very poor network in terms of like the ATMs. They don't operate on like the megabyte, the fiber connection, none of it. It actually operates on satellite.
Okay.
Elon Musk talks of Starlink today, but it was like very old satellite, 16 kilobyte, 32 kilobyte internet, very slow speed, a lot of problems around it. And I was there in the site, spent at least 2.5 months there, designer, architect, you name it, whatever. So I was able to I said like, I'll do my best. And we solved the problem, right? Spending 2 months there, not knowing a word of Spanish, right? There was one interpreter there who'll help me translate the thing to the management, and the management would translate to me. The interpreter like saved the entire 2 months. So we got solved it. After we solved it, it actually opened the entire Latin American region to $15 million of business after that,
Wow.
which was huge, because that was one important problem that was not getting solved for a long time, for over 2 years. So that basically also like offered more opportunity for me to travel to the US first time in 2013. So that's my first entry into the US for first time. So that is a story I could never forget. So I didn't think about it when we started this, but yeah, we said we will take care of it. We took care of it. So that kind of like changed my life in a way, actually, if you see it.
It's simply doing what you say and saying
Yeah.
what you do. It's absolutely powerful. I want to flip the conversation a little bit into success, what we started with. I think success is kind of an important thing to talk about, because I think when I started as an entrepreneur, I thought there would just be a moment that I would feel successful. It's like, and it's really interesting, because I think there have been moments where I feel successful, but they're fleeting, few and far between. And I said it on my podcast this morning, where I was saying like, it's not like a confetti ball blows up from your roof and someone pulls out a bullhorn and is like, Kelly, you made it. You're successful, right? Like
Yeah.
that does not happen. And so I think it's kind of important to remember that success is really a feeling. It's a way of life. It's how you live. You either live successfully or you never find it, because it's not typically like someone's going to hop out and shoot you a bullhorn call or do a big post on social media to let you know that you've made it.
Yeah.
Even Colin, let's use you as an example, and maybe you have had a little bit of one over the weekend here with regards to, were you named the #1 realtor in Lethbridge?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So kind of cool. You did get like a 2-page "you made it" post inside the paper, but it's not like there was a big confetti ball that exploded above your head and you were named #1. A bunch of people danced in with a marching band.
No.
We're like, call it.
They did not do that.
But one could argue that this morning you achieved a new, or not this morning, but last week you achieved a new level of success, cementing you as a leader in your space. And yet, do you feel different?
No. You know what's funny is, so when I won the award, I got the call and they said, you've won this award. You can't say anything. It's discreet, blah, blah, blah. We want to give you an interview and do all this stuff. And I said, okay. I said, I didn't know I was nominated. And she said, yeah, you were, and you won. It's quite a thing. And I said, oh, okay. So I was super happy, but also I wasn't quite sure what to think, because it's not like American Idol, right? You're right. Nothing comes down. It's waiting time. And then I'm like, okay. So then they do interview me and they do this big thing and they're advertising, they're promoting it. The interesting thing is I got a few texts and some calls.
Yeah.
Of course, from my mom, and no joke, and some other people. But there's in my local industry, there's 440 realtors, right? Just in the city. And I think I got a text from maybe 2, right?
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, so they either resent me. And there's a lot of people I've brought into the industry. One of them texted me, right, and said, congrats. And none of the other ones have. And I'm just kind of like, I'm the opposite. If somebody wins that, whether I know them or not, I would congratulate them. I would say, that's awesome. So it's kind of like, I don't understand, but I don't care, right? That doesn't change anything. The one thing is, I don't know who voted. I don't know how many people voted. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And this is, I'm not a humble bragger.
Yeah.
But we stopped at my mother-in-law's, and they're they're in their 80s, and they loved the newspaper, and I knew they would have seen this because they live by, not very busy. I don't see very many signs. And I'm like, well, where have you driven? Anyway, so my wife went in, I stayed in the truck. We were dropping something off. And anyway, long story short, they say, congratulations, that's awesome. We went down, we have copies of them. And then my wife said, who was #2? And I never even thought of that question. Right. And so I said, who was it? So she told me, and I'm like, okay, I this is where I felt pretty good, is the person who was #2, like, no joke, is a beast, like, just crushes it, like, well known on, I've heard rumors they spend about $500,000 a year in advertising.
Wow.
And they crush it. And they also live down the street from me. So I've yet to see them, but I will wave with a #1 sign. Hi.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, it's different, right? Is there a big celebration? Does anyone really care outside of my world? No, the benefit for me is in my advertising, right? I get to put that in there. And I think, I feel good about it for sure. And life goes on. But then coincidentally, the next day, I hear somebody, there's a presentation coming up, and the person that's doing a speaking engagement, one of them, it says, has been the winner of the best and the best realtor in Lethbridge. And I'm like, oh, so in the past they've won. They're using that,
Yeah.
as a big feather in the cap. So
Yeah.
I felt pretty good about that. So
Yeah.
that to me is that is a little bit of a level of success, I guess.
But does your life
Right?
change? Like, I feel like
No,
I feel like that's the important thing for people to remember is that, like, nothing changes. Like, I was
no,
talking about specifically with the BDP, right? Like, we've done a lot with the business development
yeah,
podcast. We're 321 episodes this morning. We're the largest business podcast coming out of Edmonton now. It's hard to say North America where we sit, like, with regards to our show, but I'm sure we're in the top 5 for sure for
yeah,
BD shows. And yet I still write my show plans the same way I did in the first 10 episodes, It's
yeah.
not like anything really changes. I got these beautiful awards behind me now. I love them. My Signal Award, it's pretty and I love looking at it. But, like, it's not like you wake up the next day and everything's different. The
No.
reality is everything is exactly the same, even though you're successful. And I think that's the important thing for people to remember is that if you're waiting to feel successful, if you're waiting for some big event to completely
Well,
change your life, it's not going to happen. It's very unlikely. Maybe you win the lottery or something, but, like, success isn't a moment. You have to
mm,
recognize success every day. You have to recognize the fact and celebrate the little things because
yeah,
those are the successes, right? If you don't mark them out and say, you know what? I am successful. Heck, man, I was feeling successful yesterday because even feeling like a pile of crap, I managed to shut off the water so my house didn't flood, fix the fridge situation somewhat, look after my kids, somehow write and put out a show. And that
yeah.
was success. That was success. Like, the
It,
reality is I could have stayed in bed.
you know what I think? I think part of it that came to me while you were saying that is I think that's a good success. And like even me, like a week's gone by and great. That's all good. Um, I don't think you want to have a momentary success or a temporary success. It has to be where you live. Otherwise, you end up being like a celebrity status. Um, and when you don't have people around you cheering you on, cheerleaders, or you're in all the movies, that type of thing. A little bit morbid, but you end up floating in a hot tub or something weird, right? Or they become addicted to substance or whatever that may be, right? I have no fear of that because nobody's phoning me for interviews or I'm not holding a trophy, right? And not to downplay that, but I think we really have to live in success isn't a destination; it's where you live,
Yeah,
right? And
it
if I
really
feel
is.
successful, just doing the things that make me happy, right, make me fulfilled, that is success, really,
And success
right?
isn't just one big award or one big
No, it's not a
announcement or
trophy,
money or
right?
whatever. Like, success can literally be getting up and looking after your kids today.
That's
Success
right.
can be booking that meeting for your client, right? Like, success is with you everywhere you go.
Yeah,
Everybody listening to this show right now, you are
yeah.
already successful.
You know what? Have you ever what's his name? Jocko. He was a SEAL, right? And he talked about his training when he was, I think he was 19 when he went for the training, and he said where they walk into the ocean and they sit there till they, basically drowned, and then if you're cold, they make you go back on and on and on, and then the guy doing the interview said to him, I think it was Jay Shetty actually, he said, okay, so that is incredible. Like, what could you say to other people to inspire them or motivate them? And he said, no, not much. He said, well, you went through all this. This is like incredible training. Like nobody, like how many people do this? And he goes, other people have that same struggle waking up every day. And the fight that they have going to work or what they've seen that I haven't seen. And I loved how he put it. He said, every one of us is fighting a battle every day, and he went through this extreme training. I think Desert Storm, he was there on the front lines. He orchestrated, maneuvers, whatever you want to call them, and did all this.
Right.
But he realizes today that VJ, when you wake up today, the struggles that you have today to you are no different than he had on that front line. And I think that's a point we need to get to of success or satisfaction or whatever that may be, that we understand we're all fighting a different battle. We're all waking up facing a different level of success or non-success or whatever that may be. And
Yeah.
Kelly, I really like what you said too, and I wrote it down, is success is a feeling.
Yeah.
Right. I feel successful.
Yeah.
Right. I'm satisfied with where I'm at. And I think when we're not, that's when we strive, or we might lose integrity too, because we might do things that we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to give yourself permission, because no one else is going to give it to you. You have to give yourself permission today to say, I am successful and I'm okay with where I'm at. And will I do better? Yeah. I'm not saying you can't be more successful. Be successful today and tomorrow, not or tomorrow.
Right.
Or if tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, VJ.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about success. And yeah, I'll wrap it up as well.
Yeah. No, give her.
I'll volunteer. But I'm saying in terms of like definitions of like what is happiness, what is success. First of all, kudos to you, Colin, for that award that you won.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I'm super proud.
Here's what I got. Nothing. Oh.
I was looking at it. But yeah, the definitions that we create in society is, okay, what is happiness? What is success? What is joy, right? I think people got to create their own definitions of things, right? What matters to you? Like, right, what is your definition of success? Kelly's definition of success could be very different than mine, than your Colin's, right? Than anyone listening to it. So I think you don't go by anyone's definition. You create your own definition of success. Someone might be like feel successful if they have $1 million in their bank account. Others might feel happy if they have $100 in their bank account, right? So it's very different. It's very different for people actually, and it is. It's not about perspective. It's about where people are at, and the way society looks at success, or having 1 million followers, or being in the page 3 or Hollywood, whatever. Yeah. Many of these people are like pathetic and like suffering. Actually, many of the celebrities, the page 3, right? And what we think of success, it actually is not. Right. So that is something. And I think Jim Carrey is something we spoke about it in one of the episodes, actually. I mean, the people who have actually made it realize that it is not. I think Jim Carrey said it. He said it even more beautifully. So I would encourage people to create their own definition of success, and don't get into the societal definition of anything, actually, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah,
I agree.
Jim Carrey. Yeah, I don't remember. I can't quote it off the top of my head, but you're right. Jim Carrey's definition was awesome. I think it was something like, I wish everybody could become millionaires so that they could realize it actually doesn't make them happy, or something like that. I butchered it.
Got it. I have the definition.
Go ahead. What is it?
It was in the Chris Young's episode. I have it, the screenshot. I hope everybody could get rich and famous and will have everything they ever dreamed of. So they will know that it's not the answer. Yeah, that's what Jim Carrey said.
I agree, but you can only say that once you become rich and famous.
Yeah. That's right. It's like, but I'd like to try it. I'd like to try it out.
That's like the billionaire saying.
I'd say it myself.
Right? It's like the billionaire doing his podcast from his catamaran in the middle of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You know what? It's honestly, it's not about this.
Honestly, I'm so unhappy right now.
As a pod of dolphins goes over top of him, right? And they go, and he talks to the dolphins and goes, you know what? It's you just be happy where you're at.
Yeah, I'll say it in a different way, Colin or Kelly. And when he started the career, right? And people say, oh no, you got to put in the effort. You got to put in the work. You got to climb the ladder, right? You know what? I climbed the ladder. I found out that every time I climbed it, and I saw the titles and the salaries and everything, every time I climbed it, no, it didn't mean anything actually to me at the time. It did. Like, what's the point?
Well, it's like we said about mountains, right? What happens when you climb the mountain? There's more mountains.
Another mountain. Yeah.
Anyway, so
all right.
So sorry about my when I degraded down to my pod of dolphins jumping over the catamaran, but it's a different type of podcast.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Sorry to all the billionaires we offended.
Sorry, billionaires. But,
That's right. Invite
but,
us to your catamaran and your island. We'll see for ourselves. We'll judge it. We'll
Yeah.
judge it.
We'll rent you a yacht for $1 a month. How about that?
That's right. So anyway.
All right, anyone. This is Authentic Hustle show number 56. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, this is what it is. Authentic Hustle. But yeah, we talk a lot, and yeah, hope you found value. Thank you for tuning in today.